kind of, not really,
Hmm.
but I am eating right now. So, so anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Um, man, so I was trying to think. You had something you wanted to start off with, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just a really quick little something, you know.
Yeah, let's do it for the live, man, but only for the live. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All
Let's
right.
do it
Just
for
let
the
those
live.
our alive audience get a chance to check it out or at
Yeah,
least
yeah,
hear about it.
do it for.
Um um so one of the big things that I saw, one of the articles that I came across was that the European Union just within maybe what a few weeks, maybe a month or so, they released a they put into effect a new law um, that should fully come into effect in 2025, June to July 2025. That all manufacturers, I should really say, like um, electronic manufacturer, consumer electronic manufacturers that use batteries in their devices. So, like, a tablet or a phone or stuff like that, um, have to have removable batteries.
Mm-hmm.
And to be more specific on that, is that these removable batteries need to be easily replaceable because yes, technically, right, if you took your, I don't know, your phone to a repair shop, you give it to them for a few hours, they'll come back, they'll and then you have a brand new battery in there. um but um it but the thing is that's not something that you can do. Sure, Apple and some of the other manufacturers have released like they've released guides and stuff like that to do this yourself, but they haven't exactly made it super easy, right? Most of the phones that we have nowadays are they come with this beautiful glass on the front and on the back, that you have to uh
Proof.
exactly. So exactly. So you have to
Drive
take
home.
that off,
Yeah.
right? You gotta take the glass off to get to the batteries, right? So
Mm-hmm.
for like instance, for like your regular old iPhone, to get to the battery, you have to take the screen off. You gotta take the front screen off. You gotta unclip some stuff, and then you gotta have to have all the screws and bits that require or that are able to actually get into that iPhone.
Right.
So
Which was the
cool.
biggest thing. Dennison told me that, right? And my question when he initially told me this was, who does this really affect, right?
Hmm.
And then that's when I was like, oh, I could be able to just be sitting right here and be like, you remember growing up, bro? You had those kids where they just be with their phone and you're
Hmm.
because you're gonna
Yeah,
be
they're
doing
just fidgeting with their stuff with their phone, man.
right. You're gonna be doing that all over again. It's gonna be classic. It's gonna be on the back of an iPhone, probably right here.
Hmm.
Let's drop it down. But that's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a huge deal. You know.
Yeah. They want it to be their big thing is to be all of this, right? Even with moving over to putting in that rule, which we've all seen on the newest iPhone, that the newest iPhone has a USB-C port, right? The reason why the European Union also did a big ban or a big push to force all manufacturers to adopt USB-C was because they were trying to reduce cable waste.
Mm,
All of this is to try to do as much as they can, to mitigate, well, one, help the end user in general, but also to mitigate waste, right? Because um we've when you've got like multiple manufacturers who have different types of cords, different types of cables, um that's an issue,
yeah.
right? That's more waste that you're creating because now instead of, or I should say, before in some ways, right? Because I think our last big bastion of different cables has finally fallen since the iPhone has now moved over to USB-C. But
See, gay.
yeah, exactly. So that makes it to where, this one cable is here to rule them all, right? One cable to rule them all. You can bring one cable on a trip, and that's gonna charge everybody's phone. You don't have
Right.
to have a lightning cable. You don't have to have anything. You just get this one little cable.
Yep.
But
Oh,
what that
sorry. I can't charge your iPhone. I have a micro USB. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, well, yeah, see, again, trying to get rid of that.
I know, but those are words that would get you broken up with.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
true.
I only got a micro USB
Like,
cable.
what?
I know.
Okay. I don't know how you feel. I mean, I feel like that's, similar to how it is in the US. I have to specify um where people are saying like, "Oh, you got that green bubble? Don't know how if I want to talk to you now." Right?
You're telling me.
Um Hey now. Hey now, I have a lot to say about that, but I'm not going to get into that topic. I've gotten there before.
It's tough times, man.
Um
Persevering text messages for me.
Hey, this is all Apple's fault. Apple is the one who's created this walled garden. Android, Google has freely admitted that they are open to better conversations.
Yeah,
That's not the green bubble, but I digress. Um, um, all of this is to reduce weight, and the battery swapping thing is another thing to help reduce weight, or not weight, but waste.
sure.
Um,
Sure.
of course, weight, I guess weight in waste, but whatever. Um,
Well,
uh,
and not to cut you off, but actually
no,
was a
no.
question I was thinking about. This would invite more third-party battery manufacturers, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it can. It
Yeah.
can.
So you could have an advancement in technology. Of course, you'll have some cheap ones too, but you could have, lighter and longer lasting batteries, perhaps, right?
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, there's that. More third party manufacturers to create like swappable batteries in there that'll go in really quick and easy. Um, This also makes it to where you can hold on to your phone a lot longer, right? I'm sure there's plenty of people who move over to a different phone not because the phone isn't working, but it's because the battery, right, is atrocious at this point. And no one wants to go out and pay, on their 2, 3-year-old phone, pay like, I don't know, in some cases for Apple, 400 $300 just to get the battery swapped out, right? That's
No.
more than half the value of the phone. If anything, it might be even more than the phone is, just to replace the battery. Of course, sure,
Right.
technically replacing that battery could probably last you a little bit longer, but it's a heavy cost for most users. And so if you make these batteries easily replaceable, batteries in general, like from my old V20 that I have, my LG V20, um, those batteries, I can get replacement batteries. They're harder to find, but still, if I can find them, those batteries, I can buy like 2 of them, and it's gonna cost me like, I don't know, maybe $20.
Right, right. Well, exactly. And the thing I would say too is if you're spending that much money for a Apple battery replacement, you're getting screwed because wasn't it was about a year ago I was down in Dallas, went to an Apple store. I don't remember which one. I think I went to Stonebriar.
Hmm,
No, no. I know where I went. It was the Galleria. And and they changed it out and swapped it out for me. I think it was $80. 80 it might have been 89. It was something
mhm.
around there. Maybe it was more. I'd have to go back. But regardless, um it can still be too expensive, but should not be that expensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, so, it's one of those things. So, um, like,
It
yeah,
was.
let's
Oh, dude, even better. It was $69.
$69. That's a great one right there.
It's a hell what a deal, man.
I
So
know. That's a great deal.
I know. So Yeah, it shouldn't hopefully not be that much money. But
No, it shouldn't. But
I think if the market value were to maintain that, you would have the opportunity for um, companies that market themselves as an even better battery to enter, and then maybe you have people going, oh, I'm going to swap out my battery. Of course, technically, some of what I paid there for should be, or paid for there should be the work that was done on it, the actual
hmm
labor. But like, let's say that the battery itself was $49.99. You could have people that buy a $79.99 battery and then install it themselves, because it's
yep,
better, you
yep,
know.
exactly, exactly. You know,
Mhm.
and it just it's overall it's better for the consumer. People use their devices longer. People will, I don't know. I mean, I think it's just a much better world, right? Because I'm looking at like just repair costs for certain services that Apple has, right? So if I damage the back glass of my iPhone 13, right?
Don't do
Well,
that.
iPhone 13 Pro, right? Darn, I dropped it. Guess how much that is?
How much?
$449.
Hell nah, bro. I'm buying
Mm-hmm.
a new phone for that price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
hear
what
me
I'm
out.
talking about.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the 15's price for. I haven't looked yet. Um, but the 14's, they were like $700. You could get them brand new, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you had to pay that much to replace back glass, I'm paying. I'm gonna make sure I have it. And I'm gonna spend a couple hundred more on a brand new phone, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but that's their goal, is it not?
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. You make the cost so atrocious that you might as well just replace the phone,
Yeah.
which then becomes e-waste, right?
Yep.
You
But
throw
it's
that phone off into the landfill and, you know, problems.
yeah, but and it's less production output for them.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
they can focus more on investing and spending money on building new phones rather than replacement parts. You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
I think
Or they'll say like, "Hey, we'll take it," and they'll refurbish it and then they'll sell it back to you.
yeah. Well, I think Dennison remembers this, but for you guys, I when I first got my iPhone, the 4S was the first model I ever owned. I don't even remember what that other phone was called, man. It was sick though. If you guys know, it was like one of those where you have it and you could flip it over. It was like half the size of this, not even half the size. But then you could slide it up, and the screen would be up where my thumb is, and then you have
Oh,
the
yeah.
physical keypad down there. You remember that phone, dude?
Mhm. That was a dope phone.
Yeah. So those things were durable too. But anyway,
Mhm.
you could so I have 4S, right?
Mhm.
And I had that first 4S for just under the warranty amount. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, but I ended up getting three 4S's within this cycle because I had it just under the warranty amount, and they used to do the lock button different, and so it's literally called like some type of electric contact nipple is what it was called, and it slid off of the contact, and so the phone wasn't registering the contact of the lock button.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
and so I took it to Stone Bride. No, I did not. I took it. I was heading downtown Dallas with this girl I was dating at the time.
Mhm.
And we stopped at this Apple store that marketed itself as an Apple store. Um, so also notification gang, Darian coming in with the love. What's going on, bro?
Mhm.
You're doing well. Um, but yeah, they had it said Apple. I don't remember the location of it, but it was near Arapahoe. It was on the way to Dallas, right? It was kind of like Southern Richardson.
Yeah.
And I go in there, and the guy goes, "Oh, that's going on." Okay. And he was like oddly chill about it. He goes, "I'll be right back." Disappears, comes back. He goes, "Here you go." And I didn't even have to sign paperwork. I walk out with his phone, right? And
Mhm.
SIM cards transferred, whatever. But it was a refurbed phone. It wasn't new. I
Mhm.
think you remember this one
Yeah.
because I had all kinds of issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point, it just didn't even turn on, if I remember right, something like that.
Yeah, it had some mad issues.
Yeah, and that it wasn't until I took it in because I was like, well, I'm not going back there. It was out of my way anyway, so I went to Stonebriar in Frisco, and they go, "This isn't even a new phone," because it had been marked refurbished, but they never told me that. They told me it was new at the other place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're having to do dances with that. It's just a lot, man, to have self-service parts. You want to have something that's much more effective with the self-service side of things, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously even a phone that you don't even require that kind of stuff, right? Which in my experience as a still an 11 owner, it's gotten a lot better. It's gotten a lot better, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, man, that was a wild story. That every time we talk about maintenance on iPhones, that's what I think of is just
Mm-hmm.
through that
Mm-hmm.
crap. I'm like, dude, it's so dumb. But yeah, it's already expensive. It's already hectic, and then you're not getting it necessarily any easier for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I find that interesting, man. That will be a good one. I'm glad that the USB-C thing is rolling out. I don't have a ton of USB-C cables. They're all right in front of me right now, actually, but it is something that has been proven is proven very effective for my Bluetooth keyboard and my laptops and this dock that I use. And yeah, so I'm definitely on board for Apple to finally adopt the same. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
but and I only got a couple of lightnings, so we'll be all right. Um, but then yes, with this other removable battery stuff, that was an interesting thing. It's interesting how the European Union is the one that's having to make these decisions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think they're the ones taking the draw on it?
Um, I think it's a culture thing. I think they're more honestly, I think some of it comes from the way that geographically they are, right? The
Mm.
European Union is, multiple countries, multiple big countries, um, all working together for different values, and goals and stuff like that. Um, but I think there is kind of like a nice oneness to them that I don't feel like we fully get in the United States. Like you
Mm.
can have, I think the European Union is interesting because you have very differing ideas, but at the same time, you all are able to come together and like make different changes and all sorts of other stuff like that. A
Right.
little bit different than what I feel like we do here. I don't know why, but I think it's just because it's their actual countries rather than, the United States is, yes, there's different states, but in some ways they all kind of blend together after a little bit, right?
Well, we're all one United Nation.
Yeah, exactly.
I think.
Um,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, man.
oh no, 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 go ahead.
Well, I think you're hitting on a really good thing. Is based on what they cover, they have to look at the greater interest of a variety of people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And rather than being like, well, my country would like, but you can't do that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You got everything from Poland to freaking Italy,
Exactly.
So, or maybe not Poland, don't quote me on that. But anyway, I think excuse me, man. Yeah, I think this is a good topic. I'm glad that we touched on it. Poland is in the European Union, so I nailed that per usual
Mm-hmm. You
uh,
did it.
with my geographical context. Um, I say we go ahead and get into our main topic, though, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
very excited for people to be a part of. Microsoft Windows 11 just rolled out Copilot, man. Oh
Copilot.
man, start
Copilot.
playing the theme music. Start playing Danger Zone, bro.
I don't
Highway
have that
to
one ready, man. I don't
bed.
have that one ready.
Man, we just got to start playing a Top Gun theme, I think. But
Plus, I don't want us to get banned, so.
yeah, we gotta do that royalty free kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
anyway, this is exciting because it is AI integration into the most. popular um, operating system on desktop in the world, right? And thanks me for shouting out myself on that.
Hmm.
Yeah. but, but um but yeah, so we have that, and it's exciting because of how it integrates typical Microsoft ideas. They're wanting to make it so you're more productive and more easily productive, right?
Hmm.
Some of these things are things that we have already seen with other programs, but they're integrated onto your desktop now. Other things are new, and Denison and I were playing with some of it before we came live, and we're really excited to talk about it. I think this will be a big game changer. It's again, I'm going to throw this out there before we start. Another interesting mark that Apple is not involved in. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I still got Siri giving me dumb questions and dumb answers over here, man. It's
Hmm.
stupid, just stupid stuff. And like that was the first thing, and everyone was so excited about Siri. And now it's like, bro, Siri's dumb. you know?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like,
Siri's fallen behind the competition. Now, granted, it Siri has gotten better than it was, years
oh
ago,
yeah.
but it still has issues.
But do you know what the most common question I ask for Siri is?
What?
Hey Siri, who won the Thursday night football game tonight?
The Packers were beaten by the Lions today. The final score was 34-20.
That's the most relevant thing I can consistently get information out of it from. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's just fun stuff like that. Nothing against it. I love having fun. I'm just saying it's not more capable than stuff like that. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're going to have a good discussion on this. I'm looking forward to it. I say we go ahead and roll into it, man.
Hmm.
Sweet. Okay. During this pause, I got to throw something in the microwave real quick. I'm not going to lie.
No worries, bro.
It's a late night scrumptious podcast going right here.
We're just gonna really just jump into it. It's gonna be some great topics. Isn't that right, John?
It is correct. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Um, we've got cool sound effects out here. See, we're already getting ready to go, getting started up. Um, I think it's going to be a really, really cool topic that we're going to talk about. In all honesty, I think the one of the other things is um, this by Microsoft integrating Copilot so much more heavily into their operating system. I think it's going to be a much bigger deal than what we think of, right? Because I mean, of course, you have Chat GPT. It's amazing. You can get a Chat GPT on your phone, and you can type in your stuff for like really quick stuff, and of course you can access it on the browser. But if you have it integrated into the OS, I think there's such a huge um difference in the capability um of what you can do.
I agree.
And so we're going to really jump into that.
Yeah, I agree. And there was one thing which may be minute on the outside looking or on the overall grand scheme of things, but it was really interesting to me as far as how it works with Outlook, email type of stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I know, for my job, I have a laptop that has brand new Windows 11 on it. And I had a notification that I accidentally clicked out of on Copilot. I remember it because it said introducing Copilot, but I clicked on something right when it popped up and it disappeared. And it did not enter my brain until we were discussing topics tonight. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't pay attention to what that was. Um, and so yeah, I'm very excited to talk about it. I say we go ahead and roll the intro.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right. That was clean. I had to say it. I had to say how clean that was real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, got another minute. Oh man. All right. Well, while I have you here, let's jump into the three best ways to support this show. Number one, leave us a rating and review wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. There's your one right there. New iPhone 15. What a flex, dude. I just said one, and he goes, "You mean like that?" Dang. More like 15, am I right? Leave us a rating and review wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. And it will help us to know what you think of this podcast. And it will also help us to get in front of more potential listeners and viewers, which is a huge gain for us, and we really appreciate it. Number two, oh my goodness, he's flexing, bro. It's a Rick Gates thing again.
There we go.
It's the Rick
All right.
Gates thing again. All right. Number two,
Number
follow
two.
us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. If you aren't already doing so, jump on and subscribe. We go live every single Thursday, and you get to interact with us in real time, whatever it is we're talking about. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear what you have going on and what you have to say about the topics that we're discussing. So jump. Oh, almost flex too early. But so jump in with us and let us know your thoughts. Number three. Oh, a USB-C cable for them both. Dang, that's a flex and timely as well. So number three, if you want to support us monetarily, we have some good, clean merch available at the link wherever you're listening and wherever you're watching. And guys, god dang it. It's GAH, dang it, by the way. It is fall. You know what you're gonna want? May not feel like it if you're in the Midwest right now. I don't know about the South. What do you guys do down there?
No,
But
it's not fall either.
yeah, it's not fall either. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
94 today. But you know what you're going to want soon? You're going to want some beanies. You're going to want some hats. You're going to want some long sleeves and hoodies. And we got them all. We even have mugs to keep your warm drink warm. We have phone cases to keep your warm phone warm. It was hard for me to say. Anyway, we got all kinds of options wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Please check it out. And we appreciate the support. But yeah, man. So with that said, let's dive into Copilot. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read something that I researched. Um, Basically, it's a set of AI powered features and experiences that are designed to help people be more productive and creative. Now, one thing I know as a marketing professional is saying that is AI powered experiences. It's a bit of a marketing sell, but that is not to take away from what the capabilities will be. So, first of all, one of the things is like voice and text commands for controlling the desktop experience. Um, we know what text commands are, voice, and we know what voice commands are too. I think, in my opinion, Microsoft has been advertising that for a long time, but not really like integrating it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, do you think that changes here, and what would that look like?
I mean, I think this kind of puts this more into the realm of what we kind of already use, like Siri and, um, Google Assistant,
Mm-hmm.
in that realm, because you can ask it questions really quickly, and with if you can make it to where I think you can also have it to where it'll read it out to you, right? If you
Yeah,
add all of that together, it kind of becomes something similar to that, right? But it's on your OS, right? You can just ask it really quick questions, or just say, "Hey, this I don't know, this Word doc that I have right here. Can you summarize what's in here? Or hey, can you help me do this? Instead of actually having it's accessibility features as well as um just sometimes it's just easier to communicate or be able to like speak it out than it is to actually write it down. So I think that's a huge help.
I do too. And controlling the desktop experience. I think my question is this, right? So a simple example is like you have, let's say, an Adobe product, right?
Hmm.
So being able to pronounce that, the algorithm knows how, what ADOBE sounds like.
Yeah.
And then you say, please open Adobe Illustrator and it will do it, right?
Yeah.
But is there anything more advanced that it's trying to say when it says controlling the desktop experience?
I mean, hey, you could say like open up File Explorer and go to this network drive.
Okay. Yeah. That's a good example too, actually. Um, but I just want to preface this. I'm nerding about this because I'm a guy that share network drives. So I could be like, hey, go to blah drive with this folder, right? No,
Yeah.
save me a ton of time.
Yeah, or even I just now thought of this too. This is kind of a cool one. You could even open up command prompt. You could say, "Hey, open up command prompt and type in, for me, right? A lot of times with my job, I'll say like do a GP update, right? So it's like a global policy update.
Mhm.
Um and it could just run through that, right? It can figure out exactly what I'm saying. It'll open it up and then it'll run that command
Yeah,
and the command prompt. That'd be really cool just by me talking about it, just
right.
saying it. So
I
that's
agree.
really neat.
I agree. Um, which I know we're gonna dive into this kind of one more,
Hmm.
but it says AI powered features in default Windows apps such as Photos and Paint. Um, and we'll dive into an alternative of this very soon. But what do you think that kind of stuff would look like? I'm gonna grab my microwaved meal real quick.
No worries.
But I have some thoughts too, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Honestly, I think that's just going to be really cool ways that you can use um that you can really use the I'm trying to think. I think it can just really add to those little deals because yeah, it's paint, it's photos, looks like it's the snipping tool. Um, who knows? Maybe with paint, it can help you draw a little bit better. I think one of the things that it actually has in here that it says it enhances your drawing for AI and digital creation. It may
Okay.
be able to help you create backgrounds.
Yeah.
Generate backgrounds, which would be really nice when you're trying to paint in it. It could also help, I don't know, maybe correct some of the lines, because especially if you're using like a mouse, sometimes they're not super perfect. But in like photos, I can even see it as something that can help like edit some of your photos, right? Because, on our phones, we have tons of like tools where we can edit inside of there. I can see this Copilot being able to do that in the Photos apps on your computer, which is really cool without having to buy like expensive programs like Adobe and all sorts of other stuff. You can have it built in, integrated right then and there without having to really outsource to these much more higher expense um, photo editing things, especially if it's something that you're going to do like really small, right? If I just say, oh, I want to blur this out or something like that, or I want to
Mm.
blur the background or something quick, simple. Um, you can do that. That's a really, really, I think that would be a really, really great um use of the tool and make it a lot easier than something that you would normally be able to try to do.
Hmm. Well, I think too, and this is probably something we'll see integrated in Apple as well,
Mm,
because they make it easy to edit photos and stuff like that, right?
hmm.
Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. But for it, I mentioned the Photos app too. Perhaps there's an AI integrated way to enhance your photos. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
As someone who works with that too, that would be beneficial, I think, for a lot of people. And to do it on your desktop, you know what I'm saying? But also, you know, it'd be cool combining the ideas that we're accruing here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a way you download photos on your laptop, like a lot of people do,
Mm-hmm.
even though terabyte drives are becoming more and more rare these days. But anyway, maybe you do that and then you say, hey, for
Terabyte drives?
or two, sorry, multi terabyte drives. That's what I meant to
They're
say.
not rare.
Bro, it's hard for me to find, man.
Are you talking about like a hard drive? Like
Yeah,
disk
like, oh,
drive?
yeah, like, yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah. Disk drives are I don't know. I mean, you can find a lot of like really cheap big disk drives out there. I mean, I guess if you wanted like a
For
smaller
external.
one. Yeah, external ones. Yeah, I can see that those are
Yeah.
a little bit harder. Sorry, I got us off on a tangent there.
No. It was worth you mentioning that. So anyway, my point is maybe you could say, hey, you know, all these photos were from this. Please categorize them accordingly, right?
Yep.
Just little things like that. I think that would help people. I like that. So far, I do think we're
Like
dipping
that.
our toes in the small things. But when you approach the entire program, it's a huge difference, right? When
Yeah.
you realize that this help is right around the corner, and you feel like your tech is working with you. You know what I mean?
Yes. Exactly.
Um, okay, so it says the ability to generate text, translate languages, and write different kinds of creative content. What's interesting about this is where we kind of dip our toes into Chat GPT, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Microsoft still has major ownership in OpenAI, right?
Mm-hmm.
So would this not be them integrating that platform basically onto Microsoft?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, we already know that they're using GPT-4 in Bing. So it's really not all that much of a stretch
Mm-hmm.
to uh see them integrating that into um the OS.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Um, so that kind of stuff I think is pretty self-explanatory. We've talked about it a lot on this
Mm,
podcast,
mm-hmm.
but I also will say translating languages is not a new feature. You know what I mean?
No.
Um, I've had Microsoft read an entire Word document to me one time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But then all you gotta do is highlight some text and right click. It should be like translate. Yeah, yeah, I can do that. Literally right now. It says translate selection to English.
This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. So it's just more effective. We know how ChatGPT works. I don't want to waste too much time on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are some of the things that we talked about for Microsoft Copilot. In Windows, there's such a small naming difference, apparently, but there is a contextual difference between Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot, right?
Mm-hmm. There is.
Now, here's the thing. So, Copilot's included in all Windows 11. The thing I forget is not everyone pays for 365.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know
That's
why you'd
true.
have I don't know why you'd have Windows without using Office and Excel and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But what do I know? I'm a nerd. So, with that said, there's a version of Copilot available to enterprise customers as part of the 365 subscription, which includes all the features of Copilot in Windows, plus additional features that are designed for business users, like um, the ability, and this is one I actually really like,
Mm-hmm.
to analyze work email to provide a summary of the most pressing tasks for an individual employee. Right?
Yeah, which is amazing.
It is. Now, in my estimation, it's not just analyzing your email; it's looking at your Outlook calendar.
Yeah.
You know, but still, for it to say, "You guys talked about this," so like at my job, we use a program called Asana, and it's a project managing platform. Maybe some of you know what it is,
Hmm.
and it's very effective. We can collaborate with so many different people and just make sure projects get done on time and manage it all properly.
Hmm.
But technically, this would um, at least wink an eye toward that type of a thing being built in automatically through AI and through Microsoft.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on this, bro?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a great way to utilize it and force it into those. Honestly, I mean, it is forceful, but it's a good way to really get people's hands on this tool and utilize it to the best of its ability. Because I feel like a lot of times, people always talk about, oh man, chat gpt this, chat gpt that, but there are little examples of ways to use it in their everyday life, right? Their everyday stuff. And this especially this being enterprise stuff really helps, or M365 Copilot, being enterprise chat, all of these do a really good job of forcing it into um, most users' day-to-day work, and allowing them to be able to really use AI in such a cool way,
Yeah,
um, than they have done before, and increase productivity by who knows how much, because you can now you can have it like this small example of just analyzing your what's going on in emails and give you tasks. Bam, that's automatically, it's essentially summarizing that email, that long nice email that you have there,
yeah,
analyzing that and saying, here's what you really need to worry about, right? Here's what
that's
needs to get going. And you can just jump right into it, because of course, we're all going to go back and read through it, but sometimes when you're in a hurry, right? Especially, I know for me, when I'm in a hurry, I just need the bullet points. I need to you know, get exactly what I need out of it, and then let's go. Let's
yeah.
move on. Let's keep moving. Let's keep doing stuff. So I think um, this is such a cool feature, and I think all the other features that they have, because I know they have it integrated into Word and a lot throughout the Office suite, to really enhance what you can do. Right? It can generate certain things. Help you come up with ideas when it comes to emails, as well as Word. When you're using Word and doing different types of work within Word, it can help you create, or at least give you ideas and create, like Word documents that you're working on based on what your source material is. So
Yeah.
I think these are all really incredibly powerful features, especially if they're going to also integrate into Teams as well, which is a chat program that I'm sure tons of businesses use.
Mhm.
um yeah, I think it's just a really cool way to get this into people's hands and actually give them like tangible ways to use it.
I agree. Well, you brought up a good thing, is specifically with the email too.
Mm,
I'm sure everybody's experienced this at some point where you get an email sent to, let's say, 5 people, and this is like a team project, and what you have is this, right? But the email is like that. You know
yep.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
And for it to just automatically be able to just determine with the training of the language analysis that it has from ChatGPT,
Hmm.
um, this is what John needs. Oh, dude, that's a game saver or a game changer. It's a time saver and
Hmm.
a brain saver a little bit too. You're like, let's just hit it. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
so I love that. That's a good analysis on that. Another mentioned thing I have here is the ability to act as kind of an AI agent, performing its own market research across multiple web sources in real time, giving employees accurate and up to the minute information. Um, so I know how. Actually, I don't. I don't, and I'll explain why I don't know how that could benefit. Um, what would you see as possible uses for that type of technology?
It's kind of hard.
It
I,
is,
I
isn't
would
it?
imagine marketing trends, honestly. I think that would be a really good one, right? If it's giving you, it can give you a baseline. Of course, if you're in the industry, I'm sure you're always up to date on that kind of stuff. But I think, um, and maybe it can see things in marketing trends that you normally wouldn't see, right? Um, through its through the type of analysis that it does, it may be able to enlighten you on certain things. So maybe if anything, that could just be a good like thing to check out as like a semi baseline, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and yes, and we all
Hmm,
had,
excuse
our
me.
Microsoft Home, or the news section that will pop up completely out of nowhere. You accidentally scrolled over it for like point 0.5 of a second, and it's like, here's the top stories for the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the thing is, so I think some of you watching this know, but I'm in marketing and social media, and the thing about it is, I know this through trial and error. Meta, the worst, but also TikTok, Reddit, Twitter, every major social media site has protections to where bots, even AI, cannot just go on there and search, hey, what's trending right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be on the platform and do the research yourself. So for it to be something like that, I don't. I could be wrong. Maybe there's new agreements being reached, but I don't think it'll be effective.
Yeah.
Um, but if you were to say, let's take a more simple example, um, be researching a new vehicle, perhaps. You know, you could do market research for that vehicle of good sales locations, good
Mm-hmm.
prices, and comparable other cars that you could compare it to. Um, Again, I think that's a simplistic example, but what do you think?
No, I think that's a good example
Yep.
um of something that they could use it for.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think that those are some interesting, enhancements. I was dogging on Apple earlier, but so far what we've read, none of it is really something that I'm like, oh hell yeah, right? But if you work at a place where you get a lot of emails, I think so. Like I used to work in the news, right?
Mm-hmm.
How beneficial that would have been for me. Oh my god, dude. That would have changed the day. I would have known everything that's coming in that needs to go in my newscast. And I wouldn't have even had to check uh, my email every 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems a little more situational based right now as to how important and effective this is. What do you think? I mean, are there any other things that you think this or that this is changing and that you think is worth mentioning?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think that, one of the things that I know we haven't touched on exactly yet is the image generation, right? The fact that they've integrated Dolly 3, which is one of the newest image generating models from OpenAI, into Bing, as well as into the gosh darn Copilot,
Yeah.
as well as into Word itself, which is pretty amazing. So no more, rare, the super stock photos that you got from clip art,
Yeah.
right?
That's for
Within Word. Now you can create these really, really cool pictures um, directly into Word
yeah.
using this Copilot feature, which is really amazing. I think that's
Mhm.
a really cool thing that they're trying to work on, that they're working on, and it's also really neat to see it in the browser as well, being able to use that. So um,
Clippy
I
was the
think
bro, man. Let's not diss on Clippy too much, bro.
Clippy was the bro. Clippy was the bro, man. He was doing what he could, man. He was out here.
I
He was
know.
out here.
Hey, I see you might be working on the ladder right now.
Uh-huh. You want a template? you
For
know,
real, man. Clippy be knowing
Clippy out here, man. He out here. But
it's Friday.
um, move over, Clippy. This is Clippy 2.0.
It's Copilot, dude.
It's Copilot, bro. Copilot out here.
Clippy's got a mustache sitting in a rocking chair now, and he's like,
Exactly.
I remember back in my day, and just sees Copilot go right over,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think that's a really, really powerful tool.
Mhm.
That I think is going to gain a huge amount of traction and usage.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, man. I will say some other examples of how Copilot can be used just to help make it more tangible for our listeners as well. A student could use Copilot to help them write a research paper by generating ideas, finding sources, and summarizing information. Now, look, I'm a jump hitting that one right off the bat. I know that's a controversial one, but to me, I always have looked at these things like, how do you learn them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, we have trainings that we do every month at work, and one of them right now is like 8 minutes long, a very monotone narration. But then at the end, you have to answer 4 to 6 questions before it lets you move on to the next thing of training.
Mm-hmm.
You can get them wrong as many times as you want. There's no failing. You just got to get it right.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing about that is, even if you were someone who didn't listen to a second of that training, you're still walking away learning because you had to get those questions right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if AI were to come in and to help a student write a research paper,
Mm-hmm.
giving them ideas, finding them the sources they need, and summarizing that information, I mean, they're still learning. They're having to gather it and put it together.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's let us know in the comments if you hate me for that, but that's my opinion on that kind of stuff. I mean, there's nuances to all of it, right? Um, but I think like for the teacher to make sure that something was still learned through that process, that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
But to have assistants writing, and of course, maybe more beneficial it would be for graduate students, those type of students. But still, I think that's an effective thing.
Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah. Number two, a business person can use Copilot to help them prepare for a presentation by generating slides, analyzing data, and finding relevant information online. Now, that is maybe, if not the most tangible and good example of how this could be a game changer.
Yeah. Exactly. I
That's a
mean,
big.
that's a really, really big one. Um, I'm sure uh, I'm sure all of us have been in a situation once before where we need to jump into a presentation. We have the facts, it's just we need to kind of put it all together and make it look nice and clean and stuff like that. And so to be able to have something that will do that for you is incredible, you
It
know.
is. It is. And yeah, I mean, I again, I think I've talked more about my profession on this episode than perhaps ever, but I find myself in front of people a lot. I don't mind presenting things, um, but I hate slideshows, dude. I hate them. I don't like watching them, to be honest. But if I don't like watching them, I hate putting them together. If you
Mhm.
compile information and then Copilot could analyze that information and then make it into slides for you that fit a good presentation, that's actually pretty mind blowing, dude. That's a big
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge one. Because it's such a huge time saver.
Hmm.
Um, and probably attacks it a at a in a different way than what you normally would. I think
For
that's
sure.
really, really big.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I like that one. Okay, so third example here. A
Hmm.
software developer can use Copilot to help them write code, debug errors, and test their code. Okay. Nice. Let's put it for this way. Um, ChatGPT can do that, right?
Yeah.
We don't know if this is going to do it to a further extent. It could, of course. I don't know,
Hmm.
but it might not. But the other thing is too. Oftentimes, when you're in a position like that, um, you can't go outside of your operating system. You can't just go on Google and be like, "Hey, let me run this by ChatGPT real quick." You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and so I think that that's an effective thing. It's a more simplistic, straightforward example from the others we've given.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's still good. I think I'm on board with that. So I think these were some good examples. Do you have any more that you wanted to touch on? I know we're going to show people some dolly action too, real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
But did you have anything else beside that too?
I can't think of any other examples. I mean, I think those were really great examples to kind of really get people engaged as well as, help them understand exactly the power this has. And it's also kind of funny too. This is again, what we've talked about ever since we started really covering this topic of like different types of AIs that are out there that are AI tools that are out there. Um, is that this is the tip of the iceberg, right? This is literally probably the worst that it will be,
Mhm.
and it will get better and faster
Yeah.
and smarter um
And that's
as
been
time
proven
goes on.
true every time Denison has said it. You
Yeah.
know, something the next few weeks comes out that changes it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree, man. I want to say too, generalization statements can be taken the wrong way so easily.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think about as far as me learning using maybe an AI, right, to help learn, is because I had a foundation of learning on my own. You know what I mean? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there's one part of it where it's like, good old American values. It makes me value it more, right? It makes me value that I have this easier access to learn something. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's transformative for me. But I do think that there's a way to approach it where it's like, hey, you're learning stuff and you're learning it faster than anyone ever has before,
Mm-hmm.
because not really tangible for you viewers on the podcast fully, maybe for a little bit, but my knowledge since ChatGPT came out, my knowledge on a plethora of things has exploded, man. It's insane, you know.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
anyway, I just wanted to include that as well. But dude, let's show them these dolly shenanigans.
Yeah, I will. I will. Let me get my screen shared really quickly here. So you guys can check it out.
Let's,
Uh
let's pop her
there
up
we
here.
go.
There it is.
Boom.
Look at that.
So this is just some of the stuff that we kind of been playing around with.
Uh-huh.
One of the images
Yeah, you let them know
that
what's
we
going on, bro.
created.
I gotta pop out for one more second, dude. Dang.
Okay.
Let them know
It's all
what's up.
good. It's all good. So yeah, this is one of the images that we had it create. As you can see, you get the nice little prompt here, which is really cool. It even gives you the size that it is. And then I can just grab it, right? I can grab that content credentials, which is one of the things that they talked about, which gives you a history, the origin. It can tell you exactly what it was generated by. That was one of the things that Microsoft and honestly a lot of oh, pardon me. A lot of companies have been really trying to push since they've been pushing these AI products is to help people understand like this image is generated by an AI rather than created by like a human or a person or whatever. But yeah, so this is my little astronaut that we had, astronaut going into a black hole. So he's this poor man is getting ready to get swallowed up here. But also as you can see on the side here, we have a prompt that we already did, which was gave us a little bit more nightmarish photos. Just as like a kind of quick little uh deal here. So this is one of the ones that it generated. It doesn't do really well with hands and a couple of other things, right? It does its best.
Yeah.
I will say that ChatGPT does great with objects, and Dale it does the same thing. It does great with objects. But when you try to do something more with people, uh gets a little strange. But this was probably one of the best ones that we had that it
Well, yeah, but
generated.
also fun fact though. Well, the prompt was the Catch Up Podcast with John Dennison. And spoiler alert, in case you're a new viewer, that's not what we look like.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at
Not even
all.
close. And there are other Catch Up podcasts, but what was interesting about it is it more or less, and this is not a knock on Microsoft at all because this is DALL-E and it's one of the most advanced ones out there, really.
Yeah, it is.
Um, but they took podcast. Oh, this is what a podcast thumbnail typically looks like. You
Mm-hmm.
said two names. Here's two guys. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
yeah. So
Exactly.
it's actually really simplistic in what it decided to come up with from that perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I will say that one thing that's really interesting, right? I just pushed this same thing. I just changed like punctuation a little bit here.
Okay.
But I got just slightly different results.
Yeah.
One thing that's really interesting, right? We got four. This was our previous four results that we got before,
Mhm.
right? And then we've got four more. One thing is a theme that I've noticed here is that one, these are like middle-aged men, which is kind of weird. But at
Middle-aged
the
white
same,
men.
yeah, middle-aged white men, right?
Mhm.
Um, which is strange. Now, I
Yeah.
can understand some of the like, for instance, this right here, these guys, they're a little concerning.
They look like they
Um,
swapped each other's facial features, dude.
I know exactly. This man ate his glasses, or his glasses are morphing into his face. Um, but one of the things that's really interesting, or I could say that they're probably getting some of their inspiration from, is Joe Rogan. I'm sure. Like
That's
it
true. It's a good
um,
catch.
with these guys, I can see that. And that may be one reason why it's going more towards a white demographic, but I do find that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if you click the bottom right one real quick, sorry.
this one right here,
Yeah, and the
or
only reason, it's not.
ooh,
No, not that one. Sorry.
this one.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. Um, yeah, I mean, that's nothing. If you were to think of a generic podcast background, right,
Hmm.
you would think that. I would,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
for sure.
So that's what it was going for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I mainly wanted to bring this up just because I do find that, as it continues to generate things, I think that is, now, of course, I could have been a more descriptive with it, but I do think that is something that we will, you know, need to think about as we continue to move forward with our AI training and stuff like that, making sure that it's providing diverse things and without having to fully um, ask for different things, right, or whatever like that. This
Yeah,
was a prompt that we had once before. I
yeah.
just wanted to kind of go back to show this,
Hmm.
right? This was actually one that was really interesting because it was auto generated, right?
Hmm.
If you take out all the text, um,
So
it
surprise.
it says surprise me, right? And then it was just a robot, in what was the let me do undo here. This robot holding an umbrella in the rain,
Ink
ink
drop.
drumming.
And that's so I think people who have used this kind of stuff before, I wanted to say, because I fooled around. Do you remember when I was doing AI animation on TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made this video where it converted me and my two bandmates into Grand Theft Auto characters.
Mm-hmm.
And written like that, GTA or it was GTA characters, comma, a different sub specific thing I want in that design, commas, that type of thing. That's how you have to communicate with these for whatever reason that is.
Yeah.
Uh, but with that said, yes, this was a auto generated one that Dolly favored. Um, but it looks great, dude. I
Yeah.
like
It looks really cool. It looks really cool. And let's go ahead and generate another one. But
it.
it's
Okay.
really neat to see just like what it
Mechanical
can
sphere
do,
float. Oh,
right?
I love this
So
idea.
this was cool. Yeah, mechanical sphere floating over a pink desert. 1970s sci-fi illustrated by
Mobius.
Mobius.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's
That'll
see
be fun.
what happens right
Mhm.
here. And for those of you who are wondering, this little counter here, it's essentially like uh the it's what they call boosts,
Yeah.
right? So it's something to help, if you wanted to pay for stuff, you could, I think, guess, get more of these, but if you run out of them, it just takes longer for it to generate an image.
Right. And
Um
you start off with 100 of them,
yeah,
which is
which is not bad, not bad,
not
pretty cool.
at all. Unless this is your business, that you're going to run through that quick. But for the average person, that's plenty.
Yeah,
You know? So,
exactly.
but look at these, man. It looks like early Star Wars covers.
Yeah, it does. Look at that. That's kind of interesting too, because you can kind of see, like, this is clearly, something that's generated, but the way that it looks, right?
Yeah.
There's like kind of almost like a old film haze kind of going to it,
Yep.
which is really, really neat.
The
Um,
shadow that's cast from the sphere on the ground there.
yeah, exactly,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's go to this guy right here.
If you've seen
This
Oblivion
is
with
pretty
Tom
neat.
Cruise, that spaceship was this type of design,
Yep,
a Mobius
exactly.
design.
So yeah, that's really cool looking. We even go here. That's pretty crazy.
Hmm.
Although there's some weird artifacting, like just for all of these, right?
Yeah,
This
I
looks like
will
a
say I
planet
really
over
like
a
that one the most. I
something.
will. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man.
No, no, go ahead.
No, no, totally see what you're saying there. I will say I kind of like this one the most.
I do too. This one's
Yeah,
really neat.
yeah, it's very cool.
Really, really neat. Um, let's see
I
what
think
else.
that's what these type of
That's cool. Got a little person there.
oh, sure enough, dude. I feel like that's what these type of AIs should be made for, is thinking outside the box, like not trying to replicate anything you already have,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. So I think yeah, I think it's a pretty amazing kind of um feature that you just have at your fingertips to kind of play around with and kind of use, right? I can see this being great for uh both business and non-business applications, right? This would be even cool if, if you're doing like an amateur YouTube channel and you just need a really cool thumbnail, right?
Exactly right.
Boom, you can
Exactly.
generate it right off of the topic,
Hmm.
off of your topic.
Well, and with that said, let's tell them about the other thing, man. So it integrates directly in with Microsoft's what's that program called? You have it open on the tab there. I know.
So there's Clipchamp is one of
Clip.
the things, but
Yeah,
it actually integrates with Microsoft Designer, which
exactly.
is what their thing is. So
Yeah.
we're actually going to I'm going to jump into that real quick. I do have the base form of it, but you can import images into it, and then you can start to.
Oh, no, don't sneeze. Oh gosh.
Ooh, excuse me. Sorry.
AI
um,
AI can't articulate that one, man.
I know. um but you can use the designer to help you create different types of, well, in this case, promotions or whatever like that, um thumbnails or anything like that. See, that's kind of cool, right? You've got like a little text where it's grabbing the image and plopping it in here. You can
Yeah,
also have it generate different images. You can add different images, and it's using AI. It's an AI powered tool to really help you kind of like create something really cool and really neat. Like that's a cool looking
That was
transition,
nice.
right?
That was really neat.
That's really cool.
I like that. Well, and to Denison's point too, you know, if anyone's familiar with Canva out there, this is a direct competitor with what Canva would do. But you know, this would be like a greeting card, an e-greeting card, right? That's what this template looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes it easy if you were, as Dennison had mentioned, like maybe doing a thumbnail for a YouTube video. You just take this and you have templates that you can. Oh wow, you took the background out.
Yeah, just like that. Look at that.
Super effective.
Boom.
Nice. That's
Look at
very
that
cool.
clean cut too.
It really is very well done, which you would hope for, obviously, because it generated the image. But for it
True.
to work with different sub tech softwares of its own, you know, and that effectively, it's impressive. And then again, you know, let's say, yeah, YouTube, make a thumbnail out of this real quick, real easy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You did mention you like you said businessmen, but you know, this kind of stuff to me comes into play for small business owners and individuals. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's where this stuff really, because you can make a thumbnail so quick. You can get that, not just the image, but again, the actual size for the thumbnail, um, and then create it and make it your own, whatever you need it to do, you know?
And this is,
Yeah.
I mean, to my,
Oh, he's
oh,
back.
there we go. I think yeah, there we go. Lost me for a second there. But what I was gonna say is just like this is really cool, and like to my knowledge, it's like free. So
Mhm.
um,
I'm
this
sure there's
is
a paid
super.
version of it, but you don't
Yeah,
need, you know?
yeah, but I mean, you don't need, especially if this is what you got. Like you
Yeah.
don't need anything
Well,
super crazy or whatever like that.
well, and actually, I guess to that point too, you would say if you know you have Office 365 that you're already paying for, it has Dolly installed on it, and then
Hmm.
Dolly quickly attaches to this. I would think that's actually included. You know?
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. And you can install Designer on your computer. I just found that out.
Oh, nice, even better.
It does say try for free, which would imply there's a paid version. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, no, it's just free. That's awesome. That's
That's
very
amazing. Yeah. Just like Clipchamp, which also kind of uses some AI powered stuff to be able to create, going off of different videos that you have to create, as you can see, templates or anything like that, inspired kind of videos um, uh, in this tool, right? See, AI,
yeah.
create a video with AI. That's pretty neat.
Ever heard of it? Yeah.
Auto compose a video.
Are you doing it? I want to see what that looks like. That'd be fun. Oh,
Title of
you
a
have to
video.
upload some media. Okay.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, all
Do
right.
you have any
Oh, it's freaking out. There we go. Let's,
videos you would throw up on there, or what do you think?
let's see. I got some. I don't have videos, but I got pictures.
Okay.
I got pictures. Let's see what we got here in pictures. We'll do a DC trip, right? I got all these cool pictures. Drag that in there.
Hit them all, dude.
Let's drag the whole DC trip in here, and probably not that
Oh
many.
Lord,
That's a
that's
lot.
more than I expected.
Yeah. Let's not do that. But let's go with something like this, right? Far back.
Mm,
Go like these, right? Drag them up in there. It's probably also more than I was expecting, but hey, it's all good.
yeah. Why not, man?
Exactly. Why not? Uh,
Okay. This is
and we'll
cool.
do.
Looks like it's uploading nice and quick. Yeah, this will be cool. I also have video on my computer too, that I could try depending on what this turns out like, just to compare, the
Yeah.
two things.
It gets started.
All right.
Some weird internet issues. Weird internet issues
Yeah.
lately, so I do apologize. Um, but let's see. We'll go minimal. Choose for me. Oh, that's kind of neat. There's a choose for me. You know what? I'm gonna go choose for me. I'm gonna let the AI take over. Let it go ahead and check it out and see what's going on.
All right. All right.
All right, it's reviewing all of my media. It's finishing up,
Apparently,
finalizing everything.
apparently I don't have a Microsoft account. It's telling me, so I will hold off for now.
All right then.
I do have one, but it's not accepting it outside of work right
Okay.
now. Excuse me. So it's just doing its thing.
It's doing its thing. Look at
Oh, it's
that.
already
Okay.
done. Goodness.
It just finished. All right. That's cool. All right. So how long do you want this video to be?
Well, we're in landscape for our production right now, so let's do landscape, and then I'd
Let's
just
do it.
say less than 30.
Less than 30. Let's do it. We'll cut it down.
Okay.
We'll do next. Oh,
Wow.
sure. We'll go relaxation for it.
You can change your
Look at that.
font if you want. That's cool.
Cool.
And then do you just have to hit play, or what do you do?
I think so. I think it's already got it. Otherwise, you just export, right?
Yeah.
Auto compose.
Oh, dude, sick. It looks dope.
That's pretty dope.
It is, dude. It's kind of like how Apple has it on board where you can make a quick video of your photos and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right.
But it was like really clean. I liked it. It makes you wonder, and I apologize, guys, for you guys listening and watching. I don't have the access to do video right now, apparently, but I do want to play with it, and I'll get to that, and we can report back. But
Yeah, I want
yeah,
to play with this as well.
yeah, because how simple it was for it to edit this makes you wonder what it would look like throwing a video in there.
I know. Well, yeah, full video and see what goes on. Okay,
Well,
so
like
now
take our podcast for example, right?
Mhm.
If you threw that in there and then said make a 30-second video, what would it take from this? That would basically turn into a social media reel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna
So just
share this actual video that it just created. I exported it so that way you can actually see it. It was a little different.
okay.
But yeah, I mean that would be really amazing, right? It makes it so much easier for you to do so much more.
Yeah.
Okay. So my video should be shared now.
Okay. Well, I'm in with Google now. Don't hate me, Clip Champ.
Oh man, you gotta watch out. Google will get you.
Happens.
Don't let Google get you.
Okay, let's see here. Create video with AI. And I'm going to drop. Let's see. I think I have a raw
Oh,
video.
John, do you got the video shared?
I can. Yeah, I was just making sure I was
Oh,
looking at something viable here real fast.
got it.
Um, yes, I do have live share stuff, I believe. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Skirt. There we go. Okay. Here we are. And I'm gonna click on 6 videos. I know you can't see them right now,
Mm-hmm.
but all they're just coded, so I hope that these work. I don't know what they will look like, but
All right.
but we'll get them rolling here real quick. See, they're all taking their time to upload. It's not called Indie Trip. It's
Mm-hmm.
called Hinder Show.
Hinder show. Look at
I did not plan on flexing about my band today,
that.
but we had the opportunity to open for Hinder last year. Pretty much, yeah, just over a year ago, man.
It's pretty
Um,
pretty amazing.
yeah, it was definitely the best show. that I've ever had with my band, and the crowd loved us. It was fun. We played in the middle of Inman, Kansas, which, if you know, yeah, well, actually, I'm not even gonna say that. I know several people that live up here that don't even know where Inman is, but it's kind of in the middle of Kansas, and there's nothing crazy there, but they have a big concert venue that they just opened like 2 years ago, three maybe, and it had a ton of people in there, man.
Wow.
And we had a good opportunity. So this is taking its time. I may end up having to go back and drop some of this, but maybe not. Let's see what we got here. Not really feeling.
Could you
Oh,
choose for me?
okay. I guess I did that. So yeah, we'll review when it comes back. But let's switch over to you, man.
Yeah, of course. Pick me
Sweet.
up. All right, let's go ahead and just do this.
There it is. Looking clean. No, man. I like it. This looks
Yeah,
great.
that's not bad.
No, not at all.
And look at that. It had a nice fade out, fade out into when it comes to, the sound, fade out into the video itself. Like that's a pretty darn impressive,
It
honestly.
is. It is. I agree. Um, yeah, no, I completely agree. It looks great from that side of things. I thought it was, yeah, well put together, and I'd be completely happy with it, to be honest. You
Yeah,
know,
I would too. I would too.
um,
Um
I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
try
pretty
something different real quick
okay.
because some of these video files are really hefty. Um, and so I'm gonna just do, well, not that one. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna put a music video in,
Hmm.
and see what it does. That is something that is more tangible. There we go. Perfect. I'll put this one in here. It should be. Let me get the sharing up for y'all. Boom. Already uploaded. This is much more tangible. Let's take a look here. So videos
Hmm.
here. Our first music video we put out.
Okay.
Let me type in collateral music video. I'm more or less just excited to see what comes from this.
Yeah.
Um, so it doesn't really let me easily select what the style would be like. Do I hit here? Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Classic. Sure. Not can't do both. No. Yeah. Okay. How many of these do I have to hit? But it's reviewing my media right now. So
Yeah.
this actually
Once it
could.
finishes.
Yep, exactly. This could take a while. I didn't think it would. It's 50 megabyte file, but regardless, it's interesting. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen in the next couple minutes, but I am going to just start, you know, wrapping things up here if you're down for it, man.
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, I think we had a good discussion on this. There was a lot to unpack, and really the fact of the matter, one of the things that Dennison and I found out is that it's not even really being marketed that hugely, you know, as
Hmm.
to what is in um this rollout. And maybe it's because on one hand there's so many possibilities they don't even know how to explain it the best. On
Hmm.
the other hand, they could just be, well, in week one it's this, and week two it's that, and then by the time people catch on, they're like, oh wow, my computer is completely different now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, and so it just really is interesting. I think that, yeah, I think that this is going to be a big one based off of, even just the things that we saw now, it's not so much excuse me, not so much flash or anything like that, but it is very much like well, this would be effective during my job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. I think we had a good discussion on this, man. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I mean, yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like you said, it's pretty amazing just to see that these tools are here and sky's the limit. Um, I think once this is in people's hands, just like you were saying, I think it'll be pretty impressive. I think we'll really start to see the true effects of it. I remember when they started announcing some of this stuff back in March, because that's when Microsoft first announced this and talked about these integrations. And so it's just really cool to see it like come to fruition, and really see them like doubling down and really pushing into this. And so, um, it's only the sky, it's only going to get better. It's only going to get way better. And the possibilities are kind of endless almost.
I agree. Um, I agree. So let's take a look here. I have the results. I just had to
Ooh.
stop sharing my screen apparently.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So let's this is going to look a little different,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to look at it from a vertical perspective because it was shot in horizontal, edited in horizontal. You will hear some background music that I added over the top of it. This is not me. Oh, I'm glitching. Sorry, guys. Should have downloaded it. That's my bad. Let's get it rolling. Yeah. Who cares, dude? Okay. Um, how'd you do yours? I just want to download it.
It looks like you're at the right spot. You just gotta wait for it to finish up because you hit export, right?
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll eventually export itself. It just has to finish up. It's
Gotcha.
probably still doing some stuff. Yeah. Might have to
Might have to
unshare
circle
it
back
again.
on this one. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, well, that's all good. We might have to circle back. But anyway, I think we
Mm-hmm.
had a great discussion on this. And I appreciate you guys jumping in with us in real time. As always, thank you for jumping on the live stream. This is the one of the longer ones we've done for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I missed it, man. It was fun.
Yeah, me too.
So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was more nuanced than some of our recent episodes, but sometimes you gotta do it, man. This is gonna be something you're probably gonna interact with. No, guaranteed you're gonna interact with at some point. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we talked about it. And yeah, I'll if this is worth sharing, I'll share on our social media. Otherwise, we'll circle back to it next week. But thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch up with you next week. So, a fun fact